So I'm scrolling along in Disney Plus, and damn, that is a giant glare. I'm scrolling along, just cruising through Disney Plus, and I noticed that Andor's finally released. So I figured, all right, let's watch it. Let's see what happens. I don't really know much about Andor or Cassian or anything like that. I just remember them being in Rogue One, and Rogue One was okay, but I only really liked the ending because I was like a lot of drama, a lot of action. But the main reason I liked it is because it finally showed the Y Wings bombing things. Like normally that's just a video game thing. So I was thinking, okay, are they actually bombers? And now they're on the big screen. So now no one can say anything. Anyway, what, what, what kind of story is this? Is it like a human trafficking story or something like this? What's going on? If it's like going into human trafficking, I'm already kind of like interested just because I feel like it's never really been touched in depth before. You know what I mean? Not in the Star Wars universe. He killed him. He killed him. with not even like a headbutt, you know? Like that's not even like the hardest part of your head. It's this, you know, the thing that makes that noise when you face palm. How do you kill somebody like that? Is that even possible? I've never seen that in like any film I've ever watched ever. So interesting flashback of sorts. I believe that was Cassian and his younger sister back when they were like still in their youth, and like didn't seem like any high level technology. They weren't even speaking galactic basics. So it's almost like that one scene in like the second Star Trek where they're like helping non-developed civilizations or something like that. Like they were in awe of a starship being blown out of the sky. And I don't even know if it was blown out of the sky. It just kind of landed and blew up. So I want to see where it keeps going, because I mean they're opening up like a bunch of points, but they're not really connecting the dots. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the more I watch, the more it looks like it's just being focused on the criminal underworld. So yeah, human trafficking definitely isn't out of the possibility. I'm reacting as I go, and yeah, I'm interested. I can see like the deputy being like the main villain who's taunting him. That sounds like where it's going. Let's see if I'm right. That threatening scene was kind of funny though, to be honest. I mean, not really so much the material. It is kind of funny, the material itself, and he just tells him, you just told me to stand here, bro. You didn't tell me anything about hitting him. But in hindsight, both of those two guys are like bigger than Cassian. They could have like shoved him. I don't know. Maybe they could have like intimidated him into doing something like that. Then again, Cassian's known for like deadly backwards headbutts. So I mean, who knows? Could have like flicked the finger at them and then you would have blasted them off into the next solar system. I don't know. Okay, so the deputy is starting to look a little less intimidating than it did with the first two scenes. Like in the first time when he was talking to the guy about doing overtime, you know, like he threatened to fire him and stuff like that. He's like, all right, at least he has like a high ranking power. But after watching this scene right here about how he's like trying to convince 3 different people to do whatever he wants, he doesn't look intimidating at all. Kind of looks like he's whining, unfortunately. I did say he looked like he could be the main villain just based off some of his motivations, but I don't really know if he's super main villain material yet. Like I need to see him do something villainous. Really? That's how the first episode ends? You basically prompt 7 different things. You don't even answer any of the prompts. You could answer at least one. Really? I'm like stuck here just waiting for something to happen, and like now all I have to do is connect the dots. Luckily, the first 3 episodes showed up, so I'll watch the next one right now. But like, still, imagine if that didn't happen. Imagine if I had to wait another week. That'd be so annoying. But it sounds like, just from my guess, it sounds like they're going back in time to show whatever Imperial thing Cassian has that he's about to try and sell off or whatever. But the main bulk of the story is Cassian just trying to not only find his sister, but get off world and escape the law that he knows is going to eventually come for him. Which, in hindsight, I don't even know if it is going to come for him. It's just really just this one deputy who I don't really know if he's threatening or not yet. Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna watch the second episode. I mean, I want to see what happens after them basically just freaking leaving me like that. I've never been so annoyed by cliffhanger before. Well, that's not true. One thing I'm noticing about like these people who are like more underdeveloped than the rest of Star Wars universe, a lot of them are super young. You know, none of them are, I don't know, none of them look like very old adults or anything like that. Maybe young adults, but they all look young. I mean, like, yeah, what happened to all the adults? The thing about this series is it just keeps making me ask questions and questions, but if the first episode is anything to go off of, I'm probably not going to get any answer until like the end of this season, which drives me nuts. This is the first time I actually looked at the rating. It's TV-14. I can't believe I didn't notice that sooner. All right, yeah, I'm happy for an increase in like freaking age range here, sort of. Just remember to always use your eyes, people. Mine are bad. I have glasses, so that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. I just got done watching the scene with the deputy, the guy who's like trying to find Cassius. I already forgot his name, but he's talking with Sergeant Linus Moores. There was like a really good speech by the sergeant there about how he's like, you need to have a firmer grip on the affiliated planets, and like how he's talking about how he's going to bring 12 people to go after this one criminal. It's like, damn. And when he was giving that speech, in my head I was thinking, I really wish the person who's using this dialogue was the deputy, because now at this point I fear the sergeant more than I do the deputy, who has like more screen time so far. I really wish the deputy had like said stuff like that, just give him more of a backstory, like he's like a war veteran or something like that, and then he says something like that where it's like, we need to have a stronger grip on the affiliated planets. Doing anything less, like why are you even working? That kind of drive. I need more of that from him, not Sergeant. I could care less about the Sergeant. I want him to have that dialogue. I want him to have that moment, but he doesn't have it yet. So it's hard for me to really be intimidated or even like take him seriously. Was that a Briar pistol? Was that a freaking Star Wars Jedi Knight pistol? A Star Wars Jedi Outcast pistol? Is that Kyle Katarn's pistol? What the hell? That's like seeing the freaking Y-Wings bomb something. Like the fact that game is getting like attention in like Disney Plus shows. That was cool. I already liked that. Little things like that. I wish they'd do more of it. So after that pathetic speech, I now understand why I can't take him seriously. They clearly don't want me to. So I guess he's gonna mold himself into something that is more threatening. Hopefully it's him with these 3 episodes. I don't want to have to wait an entire season for me to finally enjoy a good bad guy or something like that. Episode 2 just wrapped up. Still no real answers or anything like that yet. Just more questions and I guess a little more subtle development. Hopefully something is shown in episode 3. I'm about to watch it. Hopefully it works out. Also, I just want to mention they should have more drums in Star Wars. That was actually a pretty good beat that I was listening to at the very end of episode 2 here. Yeah, like I want to see something happen. I want to see him try and get away. I want to see a chase. I want to see him like get the thing in his flashback. Whatever he's trying to sell, just something. I'm sick of the build-up at this point. Good to see some old Republic dropships refurbished into Imperial work, or whatever these guys are, corporation or whatever. I like seeing this stuff. I like seeing technology from the past come into like the movies and things like that. Like I was talking about the Briar pistol earlier. But it only really works on me as a nerd, Okay, so now I see one reason why they showed the flashback. It wasn't because to show what he stole. I was wrong. It was just to show how he ended up with that woman, his adopted mother. And also why he's searching for a sister, because he got separated. So originally I thought it was going to be because of like some like human trafficking kind of deal. I believe I said that. Like she is like owned by somebody or whatever, but it's really just him looking around the galaxy for her. To be honest, I kind of wish it was still like human trafficking. Like the fact, I don't know why, I just kind of want to see him go dark, like darker than this anyways. Okay, so a couple things. First one is that turns out the flashback, I guess, doesn't even show what it is he's selling. It was just kind of like, he just kind of like described it in an offhand line. As far as I know, that's what it's telling me. So the flashback is really just him like learning about his mother for the first time or something like that. The buyer is also kind of a recruiter of some sorts, looking to like get him to fight the Imperials and the Corpos. I don't know if he's rebel. I suppose that's what they're trying to hint at. It hasn't been said just yet. I'll see if it says so in the next 20 minutes or so. What did that guy stop her for? Like, of all people to stop? The reasoning was, you look scared, girl. Why are you running? Have you seen everyone in that freaking city? Everyone's running. Everyone's scared out of their minds. What do you mean? You got shot in the shoulder with heated plasma or something like that. And you walked and actually you didn't even walk that off. You ran that off. But a random chain smacking you upside the head, that's what knocked you down. What are you? You're not even a Terminator at that point. The action in this is funny. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Okay, so I just got to the end of episode 3. I like it. I had fun with it. The action, even though it was goofy at times, I mean, I was entertained. Like, finally something happened, which is I'm glad that I'm glad that the 3 episodes like that were released like that, because I mean, if I had to wait like 2 weeks just to get to the episode 3, I would have been so freaking annoyed with the show already. I was kind of a little let down though, because I mean, it made it sound like with her line about the music, how the sound, you want it to stop, and then when it stops, you freak out. And then when the sergeant gives his line, "We're under siege," like I thought the entire city was just gonna like start hunting them down or something like that. It didn't happen like that at all. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels that way. We'll see what happens. I guess we're gonna see more of the girl. I don't remember her name, but like her fiance got murdered. I don't really feel anything for him too much because or that relationship. I didn't really get time to like with those characters. I just looked it up right now and told me they're gonna be 12 episodes. So yeah, really good move on Disney's part to actually release the first 3. Interested to see where it goes. Interested to hear about whatever the old guy is doing, whether he's rebellion or not. That's what it sounds like. Interested to see what happens with the one girl who helps out Cassian. You know, what path is she going to take? Is she going to want revenge on Cassian because her lover died, or is she going to go after the corporation, or the Corpos, whatever the hell their name is? And I'm interested to see like how Cassian finds his sister. Like, is she going to recognize him? Are they going back to Inari? I want to see more. So good job. I want to see more. It took 3 episodes to finally get things settled, and now we're continuing on to like a new adventure. Okay, early in the morning, episode 4. I'm a little way through it so far. I like the idea of how it starts, about how he was basically hired to like steal an entire Imperial site's pay. I like that. It's high stakes. I mean, based on like how the old man and the young woman are talking, it sounds like the grassroots of the rebellion, because no one's used the word rebels or anything like that yet, so it's not like it's a known faction. It sounds like, I don't know where this takes place in the timeline, but it sounds like it takes place around the time of like the Han Solo movie, when the rebellion was like just a thought that had to be started, you know, had to be kickstarted. I also liked the Imperial figurehead's speech about how like they're healthcare providers and they need to strike at the disease soon. You know, complete control. That's basically how the Empire rolls. Out of sheer curiosity, I am interested where they're going with the deputy. I think his name's Khan, from Star Trek Khan. I'm not really sure how they're building his character. Like, the music suggests he's still a villain of some kind, but I mean, at this point, like, he really has no one to antagonize other than Cassian and the Imperials, because they basically just took his job. So what is he? Is he going to be like some kind of renegade or something like that? Is he going to fight with Cassian? Or does this whole point not matter and he's just going to do whatever he wants? I don't know. It also seems like we're being introduced to a new character, a blonde-haired Imperial woman who's always wearing white. Don't know her name either. It was mentioned once, but I mean, I need more than once to even like have it ingrained in my head. I barely remembered Khan. Like, it went 3 episodes with it. Another major villain of some kind. I don't know how many villains there are. I don't even know if Khan's still going to be a villain by the end of this. More revealing information, which I'm very thankful for after the first 3 episodes. The old man, he must be some kind of like high-class Imperial, or at least someone who's like, just the way he got dressed after all that stuff, the way he got like faked the smile as if he's like pretending. I really hope like they increase the odds and he's a senator of some kind. Man, I thought he was like some kind of high-ranking official with all that gold and stuff like that. He's just a shopkeeper. Also good to see Mon Mothma. At first glance, when most people know Mon Mothma, they just know her as that one person who said that one line about any boss ends died to yada yada yada. You know, you don't really get to see her unless you go into like more, not expanded, but like other areas of like Star Wars. Like, you have to go through like 30 episodes or 50 million episodes of freaking Star Wars Rebels just to finally see her. So it's cool that we get to see her just do rebel shit, you know? It's funny because like in Rebels, the thing that made her turn canonically was like her, I don't know if she witnessed it or whatever, but she was made known of the fact that the Emperor had slaughtered people, or like murdered 2 people that were like, shit, I don't remember. But that's what makes me flip, is that she clearly sees that the Emperor is like just trying to run a freaking stranglehold on everything, and that's what makes her turn. That's what makes her declare open war and like openly resign. So I'm wondering if we're going to see that here in this series, just so everything can tie in together. It'd be cool to see. Also, by the way, remember episode 1 when I was doing this, when I said it's going to be like about human trafficking or like some kind of like criminal underworld kind of thing? I mean, it is, but not really. It's more just action adventure. But I mean, like, how many times is Star Wars going to be doing action adventure? I kind of wished it was like human trafficking or something like that, which is weird for me to say out loud. I'm gonna shut up now before the cops come to my house. You know, this whole no one would expect an attack because it's a suicide run, so like, why should we like heavily guard our base? It's kind of getting old at this point. Like, how many times has it happened in Star Wars? I think they should just be honest and say, they should change it up. They should say at least something like, you need a miracle in order for this to happen. You know what I mean? Just have like the characters be like, all right, so here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna try and steal a base, like the whole base. And then they're gonna be like 50 million starfighters right there, gonna try and bomb us because they're all bombers, but they're also like freaking TIE interceptors because they're really, really fast. They also have about 1 million troops in there. They all have freaking amazing missile launchers that just home in on everybody. Sort of like Halo. Wait, why am I talking about Halo? It's Star Wars. And then there's gonna be Sith Lords of like 50 million Sith Lords and all that crap. And we need a miracle for this to happen. You know what I mean? All right, so the episode's over, and it's just more setup again. I see what's gonna happen in future episodes, but hopefully it's like next episode. Like they say, the heist is gonna take place in 3 days' time. Hopefully I don't have to live through those 3 days, so I can see like freaking, I don't know, him bonding with his damn team or him getting a love interest. Like I don't care about anything like that already. I could tell you just right off the bat, so please don't do that. Rather just get to the heist, you know, get to what you're setting up. You don't need 50 million episodes for that, so please don't do what you did with the first 3. You know, it's all set up, so I can't really even like comment on anything like that because nothing's happened yet still. Hopefully there's no more setup, at least not for episode 5. Hopefully episode 5 just like gets it and goes, you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm about 21 minutes into this episode, and so much information and scenes have happened at this point that I feel like I missed an episode. Like I almost feel like I have to go back and watch episode 4 just to understand some things that are going on in episode 5, but I don't really feel like I'm gonna get answers there. This is one of the reasons why I can't stand it when it's like a storyline with 50 million other side characters, because now I lose track and I tend to tune crap out that is ultimately what I think is not going to be important in the long run. It's acceptable when the storyline is very, very simple and easy to follow. As it stands right now, it feels like there's 5 different subplots going on that I'm struggling to keep track of. I'm struggling to keep track of the main one right now, which is apparently the heist. Also, what's Cassian's deal? I thought he's been so antagonistic to everybody. Like, he knows that they're just going to shoot him if he's like not trusted, right? Does he remember that part? I remember that part. Maybe I don't remember that part because there's 50 million other things I have to pay attention to, so maybe I'm just making it up. But it's like, why are you being so antagonistic to everything? Like, what's your deal? I thought at one point it was just because of that one crystal. That's why he didn't want him touching his clothes in this one scene, but he was keeping the crystal in his boot. So what is he doing? It almost feels like it's drama that doesn't need to be there. I just got past that heated exchange moment of the episode where he lets everyone know that he's there to be paid for them. How do I put this into words? Because like he made a good point about how he doesn't trust the lieutenant because the reason he's doing this and the reason why he's risking, let's just be clear, capital treason of the highest degree is because the Imperial made his life crap. You know, something about not getting a promotion and losing his woman. I can get why you'd want to quit that job, but to commit treason like that, it's fair for everyone not to trust him just because he was brought in last minute. But I mean, if they have a problem with him being brought in last minute, but they trust a guy who's risking all of that just because of something that's probably worth quitting over, but not really committing capital treason over. Like if I hate bagels, I'm gonna stay away from everything like bagel related. If they have trust issues with someone who was like brought in and hired at the last minute like that, but they trust somebody who has a very sketchy reason for wanting to help the rebellion basically destroy whatever livelihood he has left that was already kind of taken from him. I mean, I figured this wouldn't be happening if they're willing to trust somebody who has a very terrible and poor excuse for wanting to commit like treason like that. So the fact that heated exchange happened at all doesn't really, it contradicts itself a little bit. Okay, so I just finished the episode. A couple things to make note of. One, I did not care for this episode. I didn't hate it, but I would skip it if I ever decided to come back to it again. Episode 6 will just do it, and I don't have to deal with like build-up anymore. I normally don't have a problem with build-up. It's just like in a weekly series like this, it drives me nuts. I've gone 30 minutes in at this point and I haven't really said much because I'm just enjoying the action. I'm happy that something's happening. You know what I mean? I don't really know how long it's gonna last or what's gonna happen next episode, but I'm enjoying what's happening. That was a great line that I just heard. You'll hang for this. 7 years working with you, I deserve worse. That was great. You know, as this fight's happening, I can't help but realize this all happened because that one woman stalled. But why did she stall? What was she trying to get timing? It's not explained. So it's like she stalled just because the script called for it. You know what I mean? It wasn't really a logical reason as to why she stalled. At least not one that's visible right off the bat. Everything else that I can think of is theory crafting at this point. Also, as another question, during this firefight, I'm noticing it's all just like one shots and stuff like that. Like, is there never any like semi-automatic blaster that the Star Wars universe has? I don't remember ever seeing them like on screen like this. You know what I mean? I remember seeing them in the games. The E-Web, not the E-Web, the E11 is like an automatic. That's what I meant to say, not semi-automatic, automatic, like a machine gun, but like an automatic blaster would be very helpful here. But now they're just like, they're matched in firepower. You know what I mean? I am severely confused, and I'm hoping in the next 10 minutes or so, I don't know how long is left in this episode, but I'm hoping it explains it. Cassian just shot the guy who just convinced everybody to stop and get the kid a doctor, but now he's like turncoating and he's ditching everybody. I have no idea why the shift happened like that. I have no idea how she did not hear the blaster fire from Cassian outside. They're literally like right outside. How did she not hear that? Good to see the Senate chamber again. You know what I mean? After episode 3, it was kind of just disappeared. Good to see it on like the big screen again. Not really big screen, but you know what I mean. Good to see it again. Also, it's kind of funny, but if you actually like look at some of these things right here, you notice that most of those chairs are empty and it's just filled with like a few people. Which may be fair enough, it was a war, but maybe it's also that they just couldn't get enough people. I wonder which one it is. I am happy this episode exists. I'm once again invested in the series. I want to see episode 7. We're at the halfway point. There's still like a lot of stuff that's not really, that was like built up in the first 6 episodes or so, but it hasn't really come back now. There are also some gripes with this episode. Like there are a couple things there that just happened that in hindsight shouldn't have happened, just due to character motivation and stuff like that. But it felt like they just had to happen just for the script to have some kind of like drama or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sure why she paused and killed basically 2 of her people. I still don't understand like the other guy who had the tattoos on him, stuff like that. He convinced both Cassian and the girl to stop at a doctor, and then like when it comes time to it, he thinks about just leaving everybody. Like I know some people are going to say, well, that was his master plan. See, now he's alone with Cassian and the ship and stuff like that. But it's like, no, that's not really something you plan like that. You know what I mean? So it was just a weird kind of pancake flip-flop for me. It would have made more sense if he was the one that's saying forget him, and the girl was the one saying get him a doctor. You know what I mean? Because she was like there by his bedside, waiting to see the results and stuff like that. You know what I mean? She was even telling the doctor try and do more, but the doctor couldn't do anything more. So I think those roles should have been reversed. This action was actually better than the action I saw in episode 3, and episode 3 had some good action. I don't remember her name, but the Imperial woman with the blonde hair, I still find her way more intimidating than Khan ever was. And the deputy seems like he's supposed to be getting like some kind of sympathetic build of some sorts. But like obviously he no matter what, he never looks like he fits in. I don't really know what they're going with that. So I like the idea of them like wanting to hunt down Cassian just because like he's a loose end. It's a nice little detail that I think works. At the same time, I also don't know if it really will work because I mean, like, damn, he's got how many people now after him? 3? Khan, the Imperial, and now her. I mean, damn, quite the time jump. She's already got like a new life. Hopefully, like the rest of it coincides and like everyone else is like time jumped about a month or so. I'm not sure where this series is going in terms of story or whatever. I don't know. It was weird because I mean, technically there was a lot of build up. At the same time, there was also a massive time jump with Cassian. So it was like it was building up a bunch of things, and then with the time jump, I'm not even sure if those are things that are built up anymore. Maybe they already happened. We'll see what episode 8 brings because, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen now. Like, with the past couple of episodes, you could see at least one big arc that was trying to happen. The first 3, him trying to escape his home planet. The next 3, the heist. This one, I don't know. Maybe it's a jailbreak that's going to happen. I don't know. I just got past the scene where they showed off Nakina 5, I think is what it's called. Great way to get me invested in like the brutality of that prison or whatever it is. I'm not even really sure what kind of torture method they used. It was kind of unique, you know, unique enough for me to want to talk about it. Because I don't even really know what happened. I don't know if it was gravity that was pulling them down or if it was electricity running through their body. All I know is it has to do with basically their feet. Just got past the scene where Khan basically had the speech of a lifetime. This is the first time where I ever actually took his character very seriously. You know, just pointing out the fact that he found the killer in 2 days with very limited information. And just saw the Saw Gerrera cameo. You know, something I want to say is that I'm not really one who cares too much for Saw Gerrera. I mean, I don't know if that cameo was supposed to be something that was like awe-inspiring or something that like people were supposed to be happy about. But anytime I saw Saw Gerrera, I never really saw anything stellar that made me want to freak out. You know what I'm saying? What do I know from Saw? I know Saw from the Clone Wars show, and he was okay there. He was kind of a jackass, but I didn't hate him. If anything, he was daring. And then I saw him on the Rebels show, and on the Rebels show, he was a complete jackass. You know what I mean? I saw him in Rogue One for the first time, and he was utterly useless there. And then I saw him in Jedi Fallen Order, and I don't even know what the hell, I don't even remember what he did there. Like, I played that game a year ago, I think, or some time ago. I don't even remember him doing anything. I didn't even really care for him then either. So it's like, seeing Saw here, I know who he is. Like, I don't care. Yeah, I just got finished with the episode. Wasn't really much I could say on this episode because, like I guessed, it was just more build-up. I don't know if episode 9 is going to change anything, or if it's going to be like something where something big happens. But seeing Mon Mothma, I didn't really care too much for. Seeing the other rebels that are trying to hunt Cassian down, I didn't really care for too much. Not the old man on anything. I just explained that I don't care about Saw Gerrera, so that scene was pointless to me. Honestly, the most interesting parts of this episode were the prison, everything that's happening with the mother, and like one woman who lost her fiance during that one scuffle, and Khan and Mira. I had mentioned that it's going to follow the similar process where it's like 2 episodes of built up until the 3rd episode where it's like one big payoff. This is the 3rd episode of this sequence, 6 or 7, 8, 9. So we'll see if that theory holds up. Okay, so first off, very unique method of torture, the sound stuff. I was expecting something good. I was expecting like the thing that shocks your face with all those needles and whatnot that Han Solo went through. I was expecting that one droid with the big needle shot. Using sound like that, that's pretty good. I'm terrified of it. Also, we get to see more of like Cassian trying to attempt like a prison break sort of thing, which I like. I'm liking how this episode's shipping up. I don't know how it'll end. Maybe the prison break will start. So the episode just ended. Great reveal. Turns out they're not releasing prisoners. They're just transferring them over to a whole nother block. They figured it out and they killed them all, or something along those lines. I don't know. But a great reveal. Enough to convince Andy Serkis's character to give up more information to help everyone escape. I like that. I like that a lot. Funny enough, the most compelling thing about this episode wasn't really anything else that was happening other than everything in prison. You know what I'm saying? As it stands, I'm not really caring too much about whatever Mira's doing or whatever Colin's doing or whatever happenings with, what's her name? Biggs? I don't know. There's multiple stories going on throughout this entire series, but none of them have reached like an end point yet. You know what I mean? They brought back Biggs, and it's been going on for 3 episodes now. The prison's been going on for 3 episodes. It's going to go on for more. Same thing with Mira, with Colin. Same thing with the rebels hunting down Cassian Andor. There's never been a resolve point for any one of those things. It's just more and more until eventually it reaches the climax. Thank God the prison saga at least ended. It's still kind of going, but at least they escaped the prison. That's a big thing that happened. The rest of the storylines are still pretty much ongoing. There's 2 episodes left, so they're going to come to an end sooner or later. I'm surprised that many people got off that certain shift. Even with like 2 guards, I expected more than that to be killed. The funny thing about the Empire is that they show great force, but when it comes down to it, they kind of suck at strategy. I really hope that was the way they wrote off Olaf, I think his name is, just because he couldn't swim. So I don't know if he like stayed on that platform or anything like that. I hope that character sticks around at least for a little bit. even if it is just for a cameo or something like that. Like, I don't want to hear he drowned. The main reason I'm excited for episode 11 is just because of what happens to Cassian Andor. Like, the other stuff, yeah, sure, but not really as much. Just because it's been going on for 4 episodes now. Like, I'm worried that the payoff isn't even really going to be worth a 4-episode arc. So, we'll see how I feel about it once the episodes are over. I just finished episode, what the hell is it, 11? Not really much to say about this one. It was more build-up for episode 12, and maybe possibly season 2. I'm hearing there's going to be a second season for that. Just a bunch of stuff that I just like. I liked the new design of that Star Destroyer. It had like that big old tractor beam right there. There's apparently going to be some kind of ambush on a guy called Krieger, who I don't remember who Krieger is. I don't remember if it was the guy that was trying to get an arranged marriage of two 14-year-olds or something like that. I don't know. There's so many other like side characters, I kind of forget who's who at this point. I just remember the main ones. I like that it's going back to, or at least it's hinting that it's going back to his home planet. I'm not really sure how many characters are going to show up there, or how many people are going to be going after Cassian, because at one point it seemed like there were 5 different people going after Cassian. We'll see how it turns out. That was it. I don't have much to say. Normally I could talk about these episodes forever, but all of this is more build up. So I look forward to see how it pays off in episode 12. I'm not sure what to make of that ending for episode 12. Did I miss some things? I'm confused. Like, the one freaking couple that were rebels, why did she assassinate that guy? I don't even know who the hell he is. Who is he? Was he like an important character in like the earlier episodes? The character who was trying to cheat Cassian in episode 1 comes back and he like sells out Cassian, but that literally led nowhere. So what the hell was the point in that? You wasted, it feels like 10 minutes for no fucking reason, unless he's gonna come back for season 2, which now I just have to wait for by default, and I have to wait like a whole year or so. The whole Khan and Mira thing, I don't know what the hell is going on there, and I already don't care for it. The most exciting thing was the revolutions. Like, the best part is the parts with Andor, which is a good thing, I suppose, because he's the one that the series is about, so I'd rather it be just about him. I got a problem with him wanting to either turn himself in or kill himself, because, I mean, there was like 2 different speeches about how they need to rise up no matter how hard it gets. One by his own mother and one by the guy who gave him his own manifesto and whatnot. So the episode made it seem like it was going to be like he wanted to like help keep fighting. I'd rather they just resolved it right then and there instead of that fucking stupid ass ridiculous cliffhanger that they just did. The Mon Mothma storyline didn't even finish yet. Like, I guess it's going somewhere. I have to wait to season 2. That's another thing for season 2 I have to basically wait for. The most important things I'm looking forward to is seeing what happens with Cassian Andor, mainly because I have to see what happens with Cassian. And the Death Star. With the Death Star being built, it's closer to the Rogue One movie. And if it's closer to the Rogue One movie, that means it's about to cross paths with the Rebels movie. If the Rebels, not the Rebels movie, but the Rebels series, if that has or hasn't already happened yet. Wish that had a better ending. I really do. That being said, that was mainly just a bunch of problems that I have with the episode. In terms of good stuff, I liked the funerals scene where everyone just rioted, and really that was kind of it. That and the reveal that the Death Star is very close to being finished. One thing I was worried about when it came to like all these multiple different storylines that I have to follow is that I'd forget a bunch of stuff, which I think I did. I feel like I forgot something, which was very important, very integral. Either that or they just introduced it last minute, really half-assed like. And another thing is that I was afraid either it was going to be dropped or it was going to be pushed back to season 2 when I learned there was going to be season 2, and that's exactly what happened. They pushed a lot of crap back. And rather they just made a strong stopping point, and they didn't make a strong stopping point. They left it off in freaking ellipses instead of an exclamation point. I guess I have to wait till season 2. Do I want to watch season 2? Yes, because despite the fact that the ending was crap, I do like some things in the season. I wonder if we'll even like see the sister in the second season, because that was one thing. Like, sure, it was kind of addressed near the end where it's like the mother told Cassian to basically forget his sister, and then it was just dropped. I don't like an ending where I have to wait for a whole year just to see the next season. What I'm looking forward to when we eventually do see season 2 is what happened with Ferrex, what's happening with Cassian, and what's the deal with the Death Star. That was the end of season 1 for Cassian Andor. For the most part, I enjoyed it. I don't know how many episodes I would necessarily go back to. I'd really just go back to the episodes that had a good ending point for certain arcs. Of course, most of those arcs were only Cassian Andor, so not a lot of people are like bothered by the multiple arcs in the seasons, but personal opinion's sake, I do hope that they don't continue to do that as multiple seasons go through.